morning, Kingsley Community. Pastor Colleen Weirman here, coming to you from the Kingsley United Methodist Church. And I'm doing another devotion this morning for Wednesday, April 14th, 2021. Finishing up the Ignatian workout for Lent, Tim Muldoon. After that, we're going to check out this book, Randy Alcorn's Biblical Answers to Common Questions About Heaven. We'll see how that goes. So we are on exercise 36, and this is about doubting Thomas, John 20, 24 through 29. These last 10 days are all about Jesus visiting his disciples and teaching us lessons in his resurrected body. John 20, 24 through 29. Thomas, who was called the twin, one of the 12, was not with them when Jesus came to the upper room. So the other disciples told him, "We have seen the Lord." But he said to them, "Unless I see the mark of the nails in his hands, and put my finger in the mark of the nails, and my hand in my side, I will not believe." A week later, his disciples were again in the house in the upper room, and Thomas was with them. Although the doors were shut, Jesus came and stood among them and said, "Peace be with you." Then he said to Thomas, "Put your finger here and see my hands. Reach out your hand and put it in my side. Do not doubt, but believe." Thomas answered him, "My Lord and my God." Jesus said to him, "Have you believed because you have seen me? Blessed are those who have not seen and yet have come to believe." So Tim writes, Thomas was wary of an abstract idea about the Jesus whom he loved. He is cautious even about trusting the words of the men with whom he had traveled for many months as followers of Jesus. And the women. Tim, you forgot the women. Wouldn't know about the resurrection without the women. Hello. He wants to encounter the living Jesus. For many of us, especially in the digital age, when so much information passes through our consciousness on a daily basis, religion can become an abstraction. We can be wary of those who profess it, even if they are close to us, perhaps our own parents, grandparents, siblings, or friends. Even though we ourselves may have had strong experiences and encounters of encountering God, we may have moments or even periods of doubt. Particularly when religion confronts us with truths that we prefer not to espouse because they seem exclusionary or burdensome. That'd be that whole sacrifice piece. If you're going to serve Jesus, it's going to take your time, your money, your effort. Let's see what else he says here. We are like Thomas, not wanting to put our trust in an abstraction, and yet still wanting to know God firsthand. We want the comfort that life means something, that love is real, that forgiveness is possible, and that there is hope beyond suffering. Thomas is blessed. Jesus meets him. The promise of the resurrection for us is only slightly different, for if the risen Christ is indeed the only begotten Son of God, the Word of the Father, then he is present throughout creation the way a painter's hand is present throughout the canvas. Our encounter with Jesus need not be a mere abstraction. It can be as real as the touch of another human being to whom we reach out in love. Let us put our finger in Jesus' wounds, go where there is suffering, and encounter there him whom we love. So he suggests we meditate on the face of a person who needs our love today. Okay, so do that if you'd like. Let your heart feel deep compassion for that person. Pray without ceasing for them. Which means not for 5 hours. It means constantly, every day. Action. Undertake one concrete act of love for that person today. Be generous in your love. Now, the story of doubting Thomas is a great story because it shows that just because you doubt doesn't mean you're not a believer. You know, with our cancel culture that we live in right now, it's like if you even say you're a believer in Jesus and you might have a doubt about something, you know, people are going to be like, "Oh, well, then you're not really a believer." Really? Come on. Thomas doubted, but his questions led him to Jesus. And so doubt, you know, it's going to happen. But may your questions lead you to the Word. May your questions lead you to people that can help you find answers in the Bible. Let your questions lead you to God. If you doubt and you just keep wanting to move, if your questions are moving you away from God into another place where you think you can find the answers, that's a little bit dangerous with doubt. So Thomas's Thomas's doubt led him to say, unless I touch Jesus's hands myself, I'm just not going to believe it. And what if he would have never seen the risen Christ? What if Jesus would have never shown up? Would Thomas have continued to doubt? I don't know. But the point is Jesus did show up. So that's the other point. Doubt leads us to questions that should lead us to the place where we can get the true answers, which is Jesus. And it will be there that Jesus will meet us. He will meet us in that doubt, and he will reassure us. That's what the story of Doubting Thomas is all about. It's about the fact that Jesus shows up in the midst of our doubt. Or have you not heard it that way? What's happening out there? So doubting is okay. Just don't let it lead you away from God. Let it lead you to God. And so you'll see this in Doubting Thomas's story. His name is also known as Didymus, meaning the twin in the Greek. So Doubting Thomas, it says that Jesus says, put your hands here, touch the hole in my hand, touch the hole in my side. And then we just see that Doubting Thomas said, my God and my Lord. So now this is John. John would have probably put down, Thomas went and he touched it because he was still doubting. Or, one of the other disciples would have done it in their gospel. So, it just shows you that even in the midst of the doubt, Thomas might not have even touched Jesus' hands. He might have just started worshiping him because he knew he was the risen Christ. So in our doubts, find questions that lead you to God in that doubt. You doubt that you're ever going to get married. Well, then, look up all the scriptures you can about marriage, and you know what? If that's what you'd like, and don't spend all your time worrying about it, just take your doubts and fears to God and look up some scriptures, and, it'll happen in its time. Or maybe you have doubts that your kid is just never going to graduate. We put some real, effort behind it, and the kid has put some effort behind it. But in the meantime, look up all there is to know about raising children. Sometimes we think, our children just are not going to get it. They were raised in the church, they went to VBS, they helped with the youth group, and then they go to college, and it seems like they suck the Jesus out of them. Yes, they try to. Some colleges do that. And so you just remember that scripture. Teach the children this path, the stories, the love of Jesus, and one day they will return to it, and believe that to be true. So whatever you're doubting today, whatever it is that you're unsure about, whatever it is you're worrying about, or, not sure it's going to work out, take it to God. Look it up in the back of the Bibles, in those dictionaries called concordances, those study Bibles. Google it. Although watch Google lately. I'm getting all kinds of weird things from Google. Got to find another search engine. And find out all you can about the Christian belief of whatever it is you're doubting about. And then read up on it and speak to others about it that might have more experience in that realm, that in that area that you're struggling with. So doubt is very real. Doubt is not something that, now, you're going to talk to some pastors say, doubting is a sin. So is worrying, and so are you being a jerk. And it's just funny how people like to point out other people's sins. And as I went on my Facebook and saw the Facebook meme, Jesus isn't going to be asking me about their sin. He's going to be asking me about my own, so I should probably be concerned with my own. But if someone says, is doubt a sin? Well, probably, because that means you don't, you're not really trusting God. But doubt, to me, is also a journey to get you to that place of truth, which should lead you to God. So go ahead and doubt, because doubt actually can bring you outside of your box of your theological view and help you grow in your faith. So just think of what happened to Thomas after he knew that this was the risen Christ. Well, you know what happened to Thomas? There's a church in Africa named after St. Thomas. So he went on to spread the gospel, just like all the rest of the 12 or the 11 disciples. And then it says he's martyred. Legend has it that I think he fell on somebody's sword. I'm not really sure. Somebody look that up. I'll do that when I do the disciples. I'll do that. I'll talk about that when I talk about the sermon series on the disciples. We'll talk about Thomas. That's all I know. So, doubt is okay. Just get it to a place where you can trust God. And that means you ask the questions that lead you to Christ. And there you'll find an increase in your faith and a strengthening of your faith, and maybe even a place where you encounter God that you've never experienced before. So, don't be afraid of doubt. Don't let it drag you down. Satan will say, well, you do doubt, so you must not believe. So you might as well not even go to church. You might as well not even, blah, 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 blah. That's what Satan does. Just say, get behind me, Satan, and start looking up some things that you're doubting about and find some scripture on it. Read it. Talk to other people that are believers. They probably have experienced something similar. And know that one of Jesus's disciples was a doubter. In fact, most of them were, because remember Jesus, ye of little faith. That's all he said to the disciples all the time. And these are the guys that built the church. So, and ladies. So, have a good day. It's supposed to be cold, but that's okay. I'll give you some time to stay inside for lunch and look up on your computer what you're doubting about and find some scriptures and read them. Hope you have a good day. I'll see you tomorrow.